Hello and welcome. We are 1 week into 2026 and I thought it was past time that I talked about some of the books coming out this year that I am most excited for. Now, a couple of these I have actually already read. Most of them I have arcs for. A couple I've just got my eye on. A couple have been... I've tried to get my hands on early copies and failed. So there's quite a nice variety, lots of different books here. And without any further ado, we're going to get straight into the books that I am most excited for that are coming out this year. I'm going to start with the books I've already read, including the one I finished just like an hour before I filmed this video, and that is the Book of Blood and Roses by Annie Summerlee. And this is a sapphic vampire fantasy adventure. It's the first of a duology. I love a duology. A series is too many books, but a duology, and that's ironic given how much I love Discworld, but a duology is the perfect amount of books. I can commit to that. So our main character, Rebecca, is a vampire hunter. She is sent on a mission to infiltrate the sort of vampire university and accidentally becomes her roommate's familiar. They have to break the sort of curse in time before they are bound together by blood contract, and of course there are more reveals, there are more sort of adventures that were going on, and I was obsessed with this. It was one of those books, when I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about reading it. It was all I could think about for the whole time I was reading it. Every time I spoke to anyone, I was like, I have to tell you about the book I'm reading. And it's coming out next week, so if it sounds like your thing, this is your sign to go and check it out. The other book that I have already read is Never After by Alexis Hall. Now, we all know I love Alexis Hall's books. I really, really do. And this was no exception. It's very unlike his other books in that it's a lot darker in tone. He tends to write, or is best known for, rom-coms, sort of light-hearted books. But what I love about his books is that he combines that with the sort of deeper themes. There's always sort of other stuff going on, that it's never just about the surface level. And this book really explores the sort of darker side of a lot of the stuff that he's written. It's set in Victorian England and is, I would call it a romance between a man of the streets and a vicar, and they have an unlikely meeting and fall in love. Of course, this is Victorian England. They do not have a conventional happy ever after. And that sort of sets this apart from Alexis Hall's other historical fiction, where there is a very conventional happy ever after. Is this one has a more unconventional happy ever after. So it is a little bit darker and a different tone from what Alexis Hall usually writes, but I still loved it. It still had all the things I look for from his books. He has some other books coming out this year, and the other one I'm really, really excited for is Father Material. Now, Husband Material was very divisive, so this is the third of a trilogy. And yeah, Husband Material is very divisive. I loved it. I think I'm going to love Father Material again. It's a more unconventional happy ever after, but that's what I love. That's what I love about Alexis Hall, is he's always interested in kind of questioning why certain things are the convention. So I think Father Material is going to carry on in that trend, and I'm really excited to read it. The next one is from an author that made my top books of the year list, Rosie Hewlett, and her new book, Sweet Bitter Song. And this is a little bit different from her previous books, which have very much been focused on one mythological figure. This is a romance between two that we might not expect, between Penelope and Melantho, and I'm going to admit, I'm not familiar enough with Greek mythology to know if Melantho is significant, a well-known person, even if she's completely original. For this book, I am familiar with Penelope. It seems much more original than her sort of previous, in that it's less based on the myth and more its own new story in the context of the myth than her previous books. I have always had the vibe that she would be great at writing a queer story, so I'm very excited to read this. Of course I am. It's going to be great. I'm so thrilled. Another author I read in 2025 who has a book coming out in 2026, Nightshade and Oak by Molly O'Neill. I'm hoping to get to this one this month, as it's coming out at the start of next month. And I really enjoyed Green Teeth by the same author, and it was a 4-star read for me. There was loads to love. It didn't really make it into that 5-star spot. But this one is about sapphic nights, so I think it might. I think this one, again, is based on British folklore, just like Green Teeth was. But yes, we have 2 women and the sort of relationship between them. I can't wait. I cannot wait. There's been so much good, like, sapphic, gothic and horror and fantasy coming out in the last couple of years, and I am living for it. Now for something completely different. Puck by Samantha Allen. I've never read any Samantha Allen, but I love a good retelling. And this one, it sounds brilliant. So I believe, and I may be wrong in this, that Puck, the central character of this book, is a non-binary theatre director, and they create this reality show with all of the lovers from Midsummer Night's Dream. But of course they all end up with the wrong people. And that just sounds like it's exactly my jam. I really love A Midsummer Night's Dream. Maybe it's basic for that to be your favourite Shakespeare play, but it's my favourite Shakespeare play. So I'm so thrilled for this. I cannot wait to just embrace the messiness and the chaos of this book. Now another fantasy, The Unmagical Life of Briar Jones by Lex Croucher. Now, I loved Lex Croucher's Regency books for adult readers. I have not enjoyed so much. Will you be quiet? I was not as big of a fan of their YA medieval stories. This is a fantasy. It's a whole new world, time period, and I believe the main character does not have magic and is trying to get magic. So I'm very intrigued and excited to explore a new genre with this author. It could go either way. But I'm going in optimistically. Returning to some more sapphic fantasy. There's a strong theme. And it's Rotten Heart by Kat Dunn. Now, what was it called? Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, I read last year. And it was a weird one in that I gave it 4 stars. But since then, I've just been like, oh, I loved that book. It was so good. And I think I did have things I wasn't so keen on while reading it. Like, there were a couple of, like, pacing things I wasn't so much a fan of. But it did really stick with me. And I just got from the library Bitter Thorn, which is her YA novel. I think it's another gothic sort of horror story. And I think the new one, Rotten Heart, is a sapphic retelling of Hamlet. I am sold. Now, the last 3 are ones that I have not managed to get my hands on just yet. And all 3 of them are Jane Austen themed, and all 3 of them are sapphic. So the first one, The Unruly Heart of Miss Darcy by Erin Edwards, which I think this is a romance between Georgiana Darcy and Kitty Bennett. I'm pretty sure it's Kitty. Sold. Yeah, it's going to be great. And then Georgiana Darcy returns for the next one on my list, The Miseducation of Caroline Bingley, excellent title, by Linz McLeod. Now, I read her first book last year, which was The Unlikely Pursuit of... Was it Mary Bennett or Charlotte Collins? I think Mary Bennett. It was a romance between Mary Bennett and Charlotte Lucas. And this one is between Caroline Bingley and Georgiana Darcy, which I'm very, very intrigued by. A little sidebar for a moment. I don't know if anyone else watched Lost in Austen, which was on in, like, 2008. And it was a TV show, and the premise was that this, like, modern-day Pride and Prejudice fan accidentally swapped places with Lizzie Bennet. And in that, Caroline Bingley was a closeted lesbian. And ever since watching that, I'm like, yes, that is the correct reading of Caroline Bingley. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. And the very last one on my list, and I got rejected from NetGalley for this, and I was gutted. It's You Pierce My Soul by Jessica Best. This is a dystopian, sapphic, Jane Austen. It's based on persuasion, hence the title. I've got to read it. I've got to read it, haven't I? I've got to read it. So that is a selection of the books that I am extremely excited to get to this year. Let me know what new releases you're looking forward to, or if you like the sound of any of the ones that I have mentioned, and I will see you next time. Happy reading!